You know, I love the ZTE mainly because of the Axon phones. I'm not saying that these phones are perfect, but they indeed offer a great value for the price. The Axon 7 is still one of the best $400 phones you can buy at the moment, but today I wanted to take a look at the last year's ZTE Axon Mini since you can now get it for just 140 bucks. My name is Linus. Find out if this phone is worth your attention. As far as the design, we're looking at a really premium and well-crafted handset. It is made almost entirely of metal, well, except for those top and bottom parts on the back, which are made of plastic. The front top and bottom parts may give you an impression that the Axon Mini sports a dual stereo speaker setup. However, the top part is dedicated only for the earpiece, a usual set of sensors, a notification LED light, and an 8-megapixel selfie snapper. The bottom is the place where you can find a front-firing speaker along with the main mic. As far as the multimedia consumption goes, the Axon Mini is just fantastic. The front-firing speaker is loud and clear, and the sound is quite balanced. Also, listening to music via earphones is just a blast. The integrated hi-fi audio chip really makes a difference if you love high-quality sound with lots of depth-enriched tones. It may look that the Axon Mini has a dual camera setup, but it actually has just one 13-megapixel shooter with a dual LED flash. Just below the camera, there is a fingerprint scanner, which is easy to set up, accurate, and it unlocks the phone straight from the standby mode. The buttons feel nice and tactile, but they are made of plastic. Overall, the build quality is top-notch, and I love an all-metal design of the phone, well, except for those plasticky feeling buttons. The Axon Mini definitely feels great in the hand, and I really appreciate the fact that it is easily manageable with one hand due to its 5.2 inches display. Speaking of that display, we have a 1080p AMOLED panel, which is just gorgeous to look at. Honestly, it almost looks like an LCD display as it has all the good aspects like color accuracy, brightness of the LCD displays, but it adds a little bit of punchiness and saturation, which is typical to AMOLED panels. The Axon Mini comes with a Mi Favor UI, which is built on top of the outdated Android 5.1. It's a bit frustrating that the ZTE didn't update this phone to the Android 6.0. As usual to the Chinese skins, the Mi Favor UI has quite a few customization options, gesture controls that work pretty well, and a lot of little tweaks and extra features which work pretty well, but it depends on your habits if you will actually use them. For example, the Axon Mini has the iris scanner, but I'm not sure if this feature is actually needed since it uses the front-facing camera to scan your eyes, not the dedicated sensor. That means that this feature works well in daylight, but not so great in lower lit situations. All in all, the UI runs fast and fluid on the daily basis, but again, you have to live with the Android 5.1 for now, but the good news is that the phone should receive the update to the Android 6.0 pretty soon. The Axon Mini comes with an octa-core Snapdragon 616 chip with a maximum clock speed of 1.5 GHz, 3 GB of RAM, and 32 GB of expandable storage. Well, the chipset may be showing its age, but it can still handle a lot of stuff. The 3D games work well, but you have to make sure that any power-saving features are off. The graphics look nice, although not that spectacular like on flagship phones. There were just a few skipped frames, but nothing major. Finally, the phone does not have any overheating issues. As far as the camera app goes, it is fast, responsive, and easy to use. It has a few shooting modes to select, but the settings menu works only in the portrait mode for some reason. The 13-megapixels camera can produce some nice and sharp looking images, but it is inconsistent. The positive side is that you will usually get a good looking image which has accurate colors, decent dynamic range and contrast. If you are not so lucky, you may take some daylight images with softer focus and not that impressive level of detail. When it comes to the low light shots, some of them are actually pretty good, but again, the camera is inconsistent as some of the images have a huge amount of noise and the level of detail is pretty low. An 8 megapixel selfie shooter is pretty good and it will definitely do the trick for social media needs. The phone can shoot videos at the maximum resolution of 1080p. The most impressive thing is the quality of sound recording. Other than that, the level of detail is decent, but the auto exposure is too aggressive as it's jumping like crazy. Also, the footage looks shaky despite the fact that I tried to hold my hands as steady as possible.
Checking how the continuous autofocus works. It's not the fastest I've seen, but hey, we still have this feature. Because some of the phones still do not have this feature.
The signal reception has been excellent and the call quality of the Axon phone is good. Also, other connectivity options like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS work absolutely fine. The 2800 mAh battery performs very well both in terms of active usage and standby. I could constantly get over 4.5 hours of screen on time using maximum aura brightness setting, browsing the web, checking the emails, social media, and so on. So there we have it, the ZTE Axon Mini after 1 year. I have to tell you that there is a lot to love about this phone for the price of just $140. A great design and all aluminum body makes it look like an expensive handset. Also, the Axon Mini is very compact considering today's standards as it has 5.2 inches display, which is just brilliant to look at. Also, the phone has a great battery life, a micro SD card slot, good performance, fast and accurate fingerprint scanner, and high quality sound. While the camera can take some nice looking pictures, it's not always reliable, especially when it comes to the lower light photography or video recording. My biggest frustration is that the phone still runs on the outdated Android 5.1, but there are some news that the Android 6.0 update is just around the corner, which is a great move by the ZTE considering the fact that the phone is more than 1 year old. At the end of the day, the ZTE Axon Mini may not be the most powerful device even in this price range, and it has a few shortcomings you have to consider, but it is still quite a solid offering for such a low price. It was Linus, thanks for watching, and as always, if you have any questions, please drop me a comment down below. Also, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and follow TechLineHG on social media like on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. See you soon.